NFT, what the future holds on the other side of the bubble. And we have to talk to you about it, Tom Kopera, who opened today's conference. So please welcome Tom again. He'll be facilitating the discussion. With a round of applause, please. We have Christoph Perdek representing Uniquely.io. He's the CEO and founder. 5 years of experience in strategy, partnerships, and innovation in financial services, blockchain, and technology. Christoph brings with him over 5 years of experience as an executive in business strategy and marketing. Next up, we have Szymon Przybylski representing Luart.io. Szymon is a long-time entrepreneur in technology, with him first making his mark in European e-commerce. For the past 5 years, he's been in the cryptocurrency industry. We have Sergiu Draganus, who's joining us online, and hopefully the connection is well established already. Sergiu is the DAO Spark at Ludo. In his position of DAO Spark at Ludo, the value he brings is the vision of the Metaverse and NFT ecosystem, his experience in managing teams and building SaaS platforms, big data aggregation, and search algorithm. Hello, Sergiu, I hope you can hear us well. Hopefully. If not, we'll be able to correct that in a second. We've got...
Yeah, I hope you can hear me now.
We can hear you very, very well. Yes, wonderful.
Very excited to be here today. Thank you.
And very exciting to have you with us. Last but not least, we have Mateusz Waligórski, head of NFT at Displayed, and NFT technology enthusiast. Hello, Mateusz. Funny thing, gentlemen, because this very conference is taking place in a cinema hall, it's fantastic how cinematic all of your presentations are. Is it an accident? I wonder. Enjoy.
All right, so again, we're going to divide the panel into two sections. First one, I'm going to ask every panelist one question, and after that, the other can join the discussion, express their feelings and thoughts and opinions, agree or disagree. And then the next part would be, I'm going to ask one by one to every panelist a question, and they're going to express their opinions, like every one of them. It's going to be more about the statement than the discussion. So let us start. My first question is going to be targeted to Sergiu, actually, and let's start with the basics. So Sergiu, how would you define another sexy world that is called Metaverse, and what is the relation between NFTs and Metaverse?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. So this is a very interesting question. Thank you for it, with not such an easy answer. And why I'm saying this? Because one of the definitions that we're usually seeing about the Metaverse is this type of dystopia environment, centralized environment, usually as virtual reality, a 3D environment. Centralized environment with no control on the user side or on the player side. So it's something similar to what we saw in Matrix. So many times the Metaverse is displayed like an environment where people are just plugged in and becoming human batteries. In fact, this is totally different what Metaverse is, in fact. Thinking to the Metaverse, we should think to the new internet where we are able to send not only information the way we've sent until now, but also value. And this type of internet consists from all experiences, regardless of the technological framework they are based on, that are offering, basically, that are dematerializing, digitizing, tokenizing assets, objects, services, properties, and so on. And those platforms that are offering us basically another new and exciting way to interact with all those elements that I've just mentioned. I would like to provide a very interesting example here, because it might happen in a 3D environment, in an augmented reality environment, in a bidimensional environment, the way we've seen at Axie Infinity, for example. Or one of the most interesting examples that I've seen was an author of a book, and she decided to tokenize the characters from her own book in such a way that each character, the owner of each different character, basically it's the token holder, and the token holder is deciding what will happen with that specific character in the book in the next chapters. So imagine this scenario. Basically, we are talking about a metaverse component which is taking place on paper, on a printed book. This is the exciting new element of the metaverse. What all those things have in common, it's in fact the ownership on those assets. And on the ownership of those assets, the ownership is being created, transferred, traded by using blockchain technology. So basically, thinking on the metaverse are all those experiences, regardless on the platform where they are hosted, that are offering us new ways to interact each other and to transfer value. And now for the second question, it's what is the connection between the metaverse and the NFTs? So let's think to it like this: the experiences are the easiest thing for us as users, as players, to understand. But those experiences are built on some apps or games, and those games are using blockchain technologies, where the NFTs are the bricks of building those new experiences. So the NFTs are being used in all those experiences to have ownership and to transfer or trade value. Basically, that's why every time when we are referring to the metaverse, we are usually referring to NFTs, and most times when we are referring to NFTs, we can refer also to a use case in the metaverse.
Thank you very much, Sergiu, for the broad and vast explanation. Anyone wants to join this interpretation or cannot disagree with the statements?
I might have one question regarding interoperability, because if you think about any other kind of games, the basic issue with closed ecosystem is that you can't transfer those assets to a different ecosystem. And I was wondering, what is your opinion on how blockchain and metaverse games wants to bypass those blocks? It's the question to Sergiu, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so the question is to bypass the interoperability. Obviously, as long as the apps are in the same blockchain, the things are not so difficult, because as any other type of tokens, as long as there is a community in the back of the project that is offering a high liquidity level for the assets, then it should be pretty easy to just go on some sort of decentralized solution and to have a liquidity pool for a specific type of assets and just liquidate them or buy more if you are interested to do this. Now the question comes, what should we do when we are talking about apps in different blockchains? And as we know, there are some technical solutions working on this element to offer cross-chain transactions for NFT tokens, but still the technology is at the beginning. We saw several types of bridges. The main question here is, for example, if the app developer itself is open to such an approach, because it's not difficult. It's not so difficult to create a bridge and to migrate those tokens from one blockchain to another. But the main problem is for the app developer to recognize the tokens that were migrated to another chain. But we do expect that in the next period of time, 1-2 years, several solutions from the market to offer a layer that aggregates this type of cross-chain data. We are actually working on a solution, not exactly in this direction, but on a multi-chain solution for NFTs.
Thank you very much, Sergiu. Thank you very much. That was, again, a great explanation. Absolutely, there are some loose ends in that interoperability space, and some challenges to be solved. So any founders trying to, looking for a big challenge and attack that, absolutely it's going to be worthwhile. So another question, Mateusz, it's the one directed to you. Is NFT only recognized in an entertainment space, or what are other utilities that are interesting?
Well, my first question would be, isn't the entertainment industry big enough? And the other one, no, obviously not. So you can look at car manufacturers, you can look at pharmaceuticals, you can look at any other luxury goods that have a problem with counterfeit products and like bootlegs. So just to give you a few examples, imagine that you want to buy a second-hand car from somebody. So would your trust to the seller would be bigger if he simply describes the condition of the car on a car marketplace, such as Automoto or any other different, or if he actually sold the car with an actual NFT that proves what was the usage of the car that is being certified by a car mechanic or any other car shop. So that's actually a solution that I was proposing, like the Polish government, back when I was working for a national company in Poland. And to my surprise, that is actually a solution that will be used by Alfa Romeo, which they announced like a month ago. So basically our car will come with an NFT that will increase the residual value of the car for the second-hand trades, because you will have an actual certificate of what was happening to the car. If you look at further applications, all other kinds of proofs, so proofs of attendance, proofs of authenticity, proofs of reaching or achievements. My question to the audience would be, does any of you hold a T-shirt or a ticket or any other limited merchandise from a concert that you have been more than 5 years ago? If yes, basically NFTs may eventually become that, just to target you as a super fan of all other stuff. Another application would be coupling a NFT with physical products. So Chris here is a representative of that kind of business, where we at Displayed will plan to do a collectible where a new line of products will be only purchasable for people that are holders of NFT. And if you look at the collectible industry, most of the collectibles lose a lot of value if they are unwrapped or unboxed. And actually the logistics hassle is an issue for collectors, because most of the collectibles are being kept somewhere in a warehouse. That's the same with art. So if you look at the traditional art, actually the collectors seldom have them in their houses. They are usually kept in warehouses that provide a specific conditions for the art to not erode. So if you look at all the possible applications of NFT, the technology is astounding. It's just the issue of being perceived by PFP collections only.
Thank you very much, Matt. Any other interesting utilities, guys, you want to add?
I just want to say I agree with that. And if it comes to whole clothing industry, we have enough clothing for the next 200 years. We have enough T-shirts, enough hoodie on the whole world. And people are just buying the T-shirts, hoodies, and shoes just for, let's say, flex. So by using NFTs, you can just take off this flex from the T-shirts, and you can just keep that one, and you don't need to buy new T-shirts and so on. And a lot of people are just buying the T-shirts and physical stuff just for resell them later and so on. So NFTs can help us in this industry.
Absolutely. So Matt, Chris, sorry, let's just stay with you for a while, and I'm going to ask you a question then. Like, who do you think is buying NFTs now? Like, what are their motivations? Why do people decide to buy NFTs now?
It's really hard to say, because it depends which NFTs. If it comes to, okay, I will wait 1 second.
Sorry for that.
If it comes to, let's say, top 1 tier Metaverse land in DCL and Sandbox, brands and big NFT companies are buying them for just, first of all, for investment, and second, just to bring communities into metaverses, to live with them, to build more engagement with the community and so on. If it comes to the, so this is the one thing. The second one, we have a lot of speculators on the NFT market. We have hundreds of new collections every day, of collections who are existing only 5 days. So speculators are minting NFTs, and they just want to make quick money and so on, and 90% of them will lose. And third part of this is also people are buying NFT like for store of value and for, I am looking for one word, but I don't want to use Google Translator, so give me 1 second. Okay, let's say for flex. So yeah, so first group of people are just buying this for business, like plots in Metaverse. Second ones are just people who want to speculate on on NFTs who are trying to snipe whitelist and so on. Like 3 weeks ago, we have Invisible Friends NFT minting, and everyone who got lucky to get entry to whitelist there, they had 50, 70x in 1 day on it. And third one is just to buy punks and board tapes just for store of value and for build reputation and whole brand in NFT space.
Yeah, I would say I would extend this third group into the people that actually want to become a part of the history. Like, there's so many people that believe that now the new history is being created, and whatever they buy now, they're first, they're unique, they're, you know, very valuable purchases. So some of them are just want to have this feeling to become a part of the history, I would say. Any other comments?
I would add that basically the thing of NFTs is being the part of community that you have, for example, in the Terra and whole ecosystem that I'm included into. Basic thing is why people are engaging in NFTs is being a part of the community that they're staying behind it, you know. So there's some in the Terra ecosystem, I can say, because I'm the mostly in this ecosystem specified. Being, for example, of the Hellcats community, you can be part of some legacy of their NFTs that they are wanting to bring. For example, some art, as was mentioned before, that there's some collectibilities, and you know, being the part of community, I think like it's the future meetings that people can usually meet with each other in the future. So, for example, if you will make some collection with for example, bees that they are dying into you know, in normal space, you can be like you know, part of this community that they're helping the bees in the future. So, I think like NFTs is like store of value first of all, and second would be the part of community that then can help with some features and being you know, integrated with each other.
Thank you very much. So Szymon, let's stick with you and help us understand where the NFT value is actually coming from.
From speculation, of course. Like basically all the minters and the whole. I will give you for example, the sample. First of all, minting is the process that NFTs are being minted on the platform. As for example, Luart is the launchpad for NFTs, plus the marketplace on the Terra ecosystem, and we. And whole the value from it is coming from like people and investors want to be first of all they're motivating by gaining the revenue from it, and you know, making the big money as Chris mentioned before, because for example, CryptoPunks, they're mostly like the part of being the community. Second is the motivation of storing the value plus making revenue on it. If you was the early stage in this period, right? So I think like people and the whole speculation on it is going from people that they want to invest, and they bringing the value through the community that bring into, right? So.
Very good answer. Thank you very much. I think we just finished the first part of the panel, and let's move to the second one, where I'm going to ask the same question, or actually I'm going to ask it once, and please just reply one by one. Let's make it very concise, like 1 minute of the answer. I'm looking at the timer now. So we're going to start with the heavy question, and the main question actually for the panel: do we have an NFT bubble? And if so, then why? Sergiu, please go ahead.
Yes, so we do have NFT bubble, and this is happening from several different reasons. Basically, the interest. Imagine NFT started several years ago. 2 years ago, was not such a high interest. Right now, the technology offers a very easy way in and out. There are several platforms showing this. There is a huge hype around large companies at a global level creating not only software platforms but also hardware for this, and that we hear a lot about NFT and metaverses. On the other hand, the NFTs until 2 years ago were being known only as a collectibles, and right now the NFTs are embracing new industries in some amazing ways. I mean, right now they are addressing to the play-to-earn industry, to the art industry, sport industry, event industry, and so on. So right now people do understand, they open their eyes and they do understand that NFTs can be used in all those industries to provide value. So on one hand, we have the news and the media talking about them. On the other hand, people understand that they can be very interesting instruments to have good return on investments or to just own. Yeah. So that's why the hype, and that's why more and more people are interested. And that's what this is, in my opinion, what is creating currently the bubble.
Matt, what's your take on it?
Yes and no. So we absolutely have a bubble of PFP collections which are simply a cash grab. So that's a bad PR for NFT technology of itself, because it basically puts the public at the perception of NFTs being a JPEGs and speculation. The technology is much more amazing, but we are just at the beginning of its actual application. So PFPs, yes. Other uses of NFT, we haven't even begun with.
Thank you. Szymon?
Yep, I would agree with it. Like on the only part of it, like the whole NFT utility will be in the future will be expanded with for example the arts that we will have, the digital industry that, for example, SoundBit, that the product that came to me, and they want to build like something like digitalizing the whole NFT collection from audio, from music, right? So for example, right, and I think like I could agree part of like PFP model are not basically bubble, in my opinion. Like basically, if you want to be part of some community, you need to buy, and it's some being of character of if someone invests in PFP models, you are the part of community in this. So basically, of course, most of them is as you mentioned before, cash grab or scam, something like that. But part of them is the real utility that you will have, and you are belong to the community. So in my opinion, like it's not basically bubble, but I think like most of the whole NFT collections that they are coming into right now, for example, OpenSea or the Solana, for example, basically they are mostly only just speculation assets. But part of them, like for example, CryptoPunks, the Elite for it, and the biggest brands from NFT collection and PFP models are very, in my opinion, valuable in this time. So yeah, I would part on the on your speech. So maybe I will go to Chris.
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
So I want to agree with that. We have huge bubble, especially in the PFP trend. In my whole crypto career, I never seen such cash grabs like I see in the last 2 weeks in the NFT space on Twitter and Discord. So I think if it comes to PFP trend, we need to slow down, and we will keep 20, maybe 40 main PFP projects, but the rest of all need to go to the zero.
Okay, so I see we are mostly supporting the thesis that we do have an NFT bubble. Let's pour some hope into our audience. And now let's talk about what are the trends that are currently the strongest, and particularly which of them you believe are sustainable, are going to stay with us, and which are just, temporary. Sergiu, go ahead.
So when we talk about trends, I think that the low-hanging fruit here is the play-to-earn industry, because there are already about 3 billion players at the global level. The same type of the users will have a same type of experience, but other type of return on investment. I mean, I've spent years from my childhood playing games, and all I have is the experience of playing games. Imagine our kids right now spending the same time of playing games and having those milestones redeemed as NFTs, being able to showcase those elements. I mean, this is a huge industry. It's not a big difference between what the people are interacting with it until now and the way they will interact from now on. And obviously art, sports, again, entertainment, all those elements, the NFT part, it's super disruptive on all those industries. So those four, I think, should be the first to start with, and we can continue with other like green energies and many others. Basically, we can find the use case in every industry. But I really do think that the play to earn is the thing to state.
Sergiu, you had the first mover advantage. Now we move to Matt.
So it's hard to differentiate NFTs from smart contracts, which heavily affect the perception of NFTs. But I'd say lifetime royalties, which is a huge change for original creators, the shift from having middlemen to direct-to-consumer consumptions of content, which for me, for example, I really hope that NFTs will revive investigative journalism, because basically news outlets and journalism was killed by ad model, business model. Other than that, I'd say, yeah, I guess those two. Yeah, business transparency is something that is worth noticing, because something that you might see that in future projects, you can basically analyze a competitor's smart contract and see what their power users are and proceed with a vampiric attack or simply trying to grab them to your product.
Thank you. Szymon?
Yeah, the question was like, what's the biggest trend right now? And the biggest trend, I think, like it's the PFP model, right? And in my opinion, what will stay for us for a long time? And basically, in my opinion, like the first blue chips that they came, like PFP models, like CryptoPunks, Boyak Club, and basically they will stay with us in long-term period. But in my opinion, like I won't agree with Sergio that it's Metaverse and play to earn, because in my opinion, the play to earn is not discovered yet in that much opinion. Because, for example, Axie Infinity is big, right? The Sandbox, the Decentraland, but the AAA studios that they are not making right now. There's no big games that they are. For example, Illuvium is one of the biggest titles that they will come as a play to earn, and we cannot speculate that it will stay with us in long-term period. And I agree with that, like Metaverse and whole play to earn trend will be the future, but we cannot speculate that this will stay, because maybe people won't like it in the future. But I'm the fan of this. Personally, I'm fan of play to earn on whole Metaverse connection to the gaming, because in my opinion, like having items and everything connected to the blockchain is that we can spread the value of the items in the game and sending through the wallets directly to the people, so and the players, right? So I think like this industry will be big, but I wouldn't say that it can stay in for long, because we cannot speculate on that asset. So in my opinion, like the first blue chips of PFP model will stay with us. The Metaverse plus gaming will stay too, but we cannot predict that how it will be, dependent in the future, in my opinion.
Yeah, what's the
Maybe
shape?
Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris?
Yeah.
If it comes to first part, I will agree with Szymon. For now, we have the most interesting thing in the NFT space, where people take care of it, is PFP trend. But if it comes to second one, I think the Metaverse is the main place and main use case of the NFT space, and the whole fashion industry will come to the Metaverse. For me personally and for my close friends, it's normal to spend few K just for digital, Decentraland t-shirts or super rare hoodie and so on and so on. And for now, companies like Nike or Adidas have 100% or maybe 99% of revenue from physical goods. But I think in the future, they will have, let's say, 50-60% from physical goods and 40% from digital goods. Also, they will use the NFTs like AR filters and so on and so on. Like we can see this for now, like Gucci bought the plot in Sandbox 1 month ago. Samsung is doing his third party in the next month in DCL. And yeah, for now, PFP, but for the rest of the NFT, the life, let's say, we will use NFTs in Metaverse.
Yeah,
cool. Thank you.
I would something like it, like from the Metaverse. In my opinion, like companies and everything like that is going to this, that virtual world will be the more value than the real one, and maybe in the some other years. Because in my opinion, like for example, advertising big brands like Nike and decentralized on Sandbox, right? We can see in nowadays basically. So basically, in my opinion, like Metaverse and whole this brand like going into the Metaverse and advertising over the like biggest companies will be future for most of brands and companies, right?
Something here, I would completely agree with the fact that for most of us, our digital identities are already the primary ones. We just don't want to agree with the fact. And for the younger audience, I mean the young adolescents, and so they already agreed that their digital identity is the primary one, so they will want to flex with items that are within the digital identity, and that's where Metaverse and NFTs come in place.
Thank you, gentlemen. So we got to the next question. We already discussed today a couple of interesting use cases, but now, like one by one, if you were to choose the most promising and interesting use case for NFTs that you actually experienced, what would that be, Sergiu?
Yes, so I will still stay on the play to earn, but you know, we are too early right now and you need to have the correct definition. When I'm saying play to earn, I'm not referring only to games. I'm referring to any type of gamification that can take place in the metaverse, including obviously the fashion ones and all those elements. And let me explain you my vision on this. Basically, we've seen tens, hundreds of brands, large brands, jumping into the metaverse. And we need to understand why those brands are joining the metaverse right now. They are joining here to monetize their awareness. It might happen, but they can already monetize their awareness pretty easy. They are joining here to attract new audiences. They have no problem in just running traditional marketing campaigns to add their audiences, to bring more audiences. One major issue the large brands are facing is related to the engagement of their users. So even if they are spending tens of millions of dollars to attract audiences to their platforms, they are not able easily to keep the engagement for a long period of time. The gamification that takes place via those play-to-earn models that I'm referring to, it's one of the easiest way to create behaviors. And once you create a behavior, one of the behavior might be only to wear your, I don't know, Gucci jacket into Decentraland or something like this, without playing a strategy game. But it's already a gamification model that might take place to get some sort of incentive. This is the easiest way for the brands to create behaviors and to attract new audiences with a high engagement level that actually might and will result in conversions not only in the metaverse but also in the real life. So that's why I still keep my position on the play to earn, because this is my opinion the trend with the highest growth, the way I see the things right now. Yep.
Thank you. So if I understand correctly, still the most interesting take and the most interesting utility would be play to earn. Is that correct?
Yes, in my opinion, yes.
Cool. Okay. Matt, how about yourself?
I'd say proofs of any kind. So I was a long-time gamer as well, and something that I would like to have is a proof of achievements in various games, which would allow me to, for example, to get into some clans easier. That might be an example of play to earn. But on the other hand, is that a lot of events that or courses that I participated in and I completed them, the issue is that they are staying within closed ecosystem. So, for example, if I do a course on, let's say, Code Academy or any other stuff, the badge is only kept in that given ecosystem. I can't transfer it anywhere. So, for example, one of the issues that we have in Web 2 right now is that social media become the big evil. And something that I would like to do is to mint my actual behavioral profile and migrate it to some other service that I like more. So I'd say the one application of NFTs that I'm waiting for is to actually be able to migrate my user profile into different services.
Thank you. Szymon?
I would add something like about this. Like in my opinion, like being part of community is something key for being holding the NFT. For example, Snoop Dogg has got the CryptoPunk, if you know him directly. He is part of this community, and we, as a holder of CryptoPunk, we can be part of this community with him. So basically, we can meet with very wealthy people in this world and going on the holiday vacations with these people, and we basically wouldn't have the chance if we wouldn't be the holder of NFTs. So in my opinion, like going with the value of NFT that we can hold in the future, if it's one of the blue chips, for example, of NFTs, is the second that you are the part of community, that you can be different. Like you can be surfer and you can have the NFT collection of it, and basically you can be part of it and making, for example, the trips once or twice a year, and integrating with each other. So in my opinion, like it's connecting people more likely than it's, in my opinion, one of the biggest value that I would rather invest my money into NFTs.
Absolutely. Chris?
If it comes to my personal experience, the best day of my life in NFT space was the yacht party for the Bored Ape Yacht hodlers. It was in New York City in Halloween. There was around 1K of Bored Ape Yacht Club hodlers, and it was the best day of my life. I meet here a lot of nice people. Like
Was Snoop Dogg there?
No, but Steve Aoki was there. And I contact Steve Aoki on Metalink 2 weeks before on Metalink, and then we meet on the Bored Ape Yacht Club party. And yeah, the Bored Ape Yacht Club party, it was, I cannot explain this how cool party it was. It was the best party.
So many apes,
imagine.
let me guess, so many apes.
So it was a yacht with 4 floors. There was 1K people, and everyone was a DJ, was a Bored Ape Yacht Club holder, even a DJ, even a ticket guy, everyone. So let's say the ticket for this party was 200K, and it was in the Halloween. So everyone were the traits of their bored apes on himself. So you was able to recognize people in real life because you know them PFP Twitter picture. And also the super experience was to buy few board tapes before below 1 ETH floor, and also
That sounds impossible, Chris.
and also hold 2 Genesis Kong and have 2K US dollars daily from bananas, and then pay salaries from that.
That sounds just amazing. So it looks like NFTs are bringing people and communities together. Wonderful. So the last question for today, and we really have just 1 minute per person now, as I see on the timer. So if you were to invest in NFTs now, what would be your strategy? What is important in investing in NFTs? Sergiu.
Yes, so I will start from the concept, from the storyline. I will follow up with the team. I think right now is the right moment to analyze also the team. I will continue with the community, obviously, and the technology. It's very important, the technology where this will take place. Obviously, at the end, we are looking as investors in the return on investment, and the return on investment might be a financial return on investment or might be a specific type of experience. As people, we are motivated to take actions and to do investments depending on the experiences, on the future expectations on future experiences. So again, concept, team, community, technology, return of investment, and overall the experience that specific project is offering.
Thank you, Sergiu. Matt?
Full disclaimer, I'm not investing in NFTs. I have some, but not for investment purposes. So I'd say avoid celebrities as a plague because they lose value very fast. They don't often have any roadmaps. Look at the community, look at the team. Is the team doxed? So are there actual names on the team? And I say look at the roadmap, and if it's actually possible to deliver those milestones within a given time frame.
Thank you, Szymon.
I would add something like I will look on the artists that they are making the arts, because in my opinion, like NFTs and investing in them is like, as you mentioned before, the roadmap first, the team as docs needs to be, in my opinion, and the strongest needs to be the roadmap, because they need to, the team need to deliver the roadmap, and it's the key for everything. But second is my opinion, like the artist that's staying behind, because it's giving you the signature for the, in my opinion, the value of these NFTs in the future. So it's like you got some arts that they're, or paintings that they're being created. If they are coming from, for example, for unknown artists, it's not like something popular, right? But if it's making like one of the biggest artists in the world, you got some respect for him, and you're buying these NFTs, even if the roadmap is not that strong. That if you have, for example, some projects. So in my opinion, from the investing level, like I would, it's disclaimer, so it's not investing advice, but I would go with the blue chips, like CryptoPunks, BAC, Club, and everything like that. And if you are looking for new NFT collections that you are to invest into, you need to look on the artists that are behind it, plus the roadmap and the team is doxed.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Simon. Sorry. So we have a closing thought from Chris. How about yourself? How about your investment strategy then in NFTs?
I totally disagree with you guys. In my opinion, docs team, art, and what you say, roadmap is not really important in the PFP space. The most important thing is vibes and community. Let's say my most favorite project is Nonce DAO. There is no docs team, there is no roadmap, but the vibes are super awesome. And also the same with CryptoToads. And after the BYC doxing, which was 1 month ago, I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club are not such cool right now, because we know how the team looks like and so on. It's like, if someday we will know who is the Satoshi Nakamoto, then Bitcoin will be not such cool what is right now, and the same with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And sometimes you need to give the opportunity to community to build them own roadmap. You cannot just tell them, in this month we will do this too, in this month we will do this too. This space is too fast to have plans for even few months.
And if I may add one thing, is that we were looking at some projects that had or didn't have any networking effects. So basically what we discovered was that even if you look at traditional art, like back a few hundred years ago, those artists that had other artist connections were actually those that sold the best. So if you want to look at like new NFT projects, look who are they networked with, because those people will bring the masses as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Do you want to add something?
Yeah,
we are running out of time, but so very close, like 30
Chris
seconds.
mentioned before that there's a lot of scams and investment, that there's a lot of NFT collection that they're appearing into, and I was referring that if you got the team's docs plus the strong roadmap, you have the lowest, qualities of the wrong investment, because people are investing in everything, right? As you know, maybe in NFT and PFP models, they want to buy everything from the Launchpad marketplace, right? And they want to speculate. And
it all depends on the risk-to-reward ratio. Is that correct? Then everyone has got the risk investment profile. Let's finish with this one. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a wonderful time. I think it's lunchtime now, right, Luke?
It is lunchtime indeed. Thank you very much, Tom, Krzysztof, Szymon, Sergiu, and Mateusz. Ladies and gentlemen, if we were to connect somehow the first panel with the second panel, I would say one of the memorable statements in the first one was, if it starts growing, it will grow to 100,000 and beyond. If it starts falling, it may fall to 0. Maybe it's all about vibe, isn't it? Thank you. All the best.